Bodgery Gulmuru and g'day. I'm Teal from Australian Bushcraft Collective. So, some of you may notice the shirt that I'm wearing, Kokoda Challenge. For those of you who might be overseas or don't know about the Kokoda Challenge, it is a race that we run here in Queensland. I believe it's run in a couple other places as well as different locations in Queensland. So it is a 1848 or 96 kilometre team race. So 4 people per team, and basically we've just got to run through the jungle and through the forest, up and down all the hills, and get to the end in one piece. A little bit easier said than done, but we've been running pretty hard lately. So I'm going to leave a link in the description below for anybody who would like to donate to not just our team but to the Kokoda Challenge itself. Our team is cheaper than therapy, so thanks for that, Amanda, one of our team members. I'll pop a link in the description below. Now also, along with that, I had one of my team members actually ask me about a one-stick fire and a few different techniques. So I thought in the essence of it, I'm going to create this video, and it's going to be a challenge for myself. I personally have never done this before, and we're going to basically learn together. So stick with us and we'll start the challenge. Rightio, so I'm going to break this down to a few different parts, components. I'm going to leave all the fine twigs and that for the actual fire itself. This looks like I could get a halfway decent hearth board out of this, and this has got a slight bend in it, so this will be really good for the bow drill and spindle. So it's going to be difficult making a hearth board, a spindle and the bow drill out of the one branch, but we'll see how we go. Before I do that though, I'm going to just show you this fibre on here too. I don't know if the camera's picking it up well, but you can see how fluffy and fibrous this is. So I'll scrape all the bark back first and make the bird's nest out of that, break all the small twigs down and cut everything up into pieces, and then we'll get back to it. So I've cut the spindle out of it, and I'm just scraping back. I've taken out the outer bark, and I've got that sitting over in a pile there, but what I'm doing is just shaving a little bit off, but I'm using it all up here, so keeping up off the ground so there's no moisture in it or anything like that. And basically just cleaning it up a little bit, using the back of the knife where necessary, just taking off really fine curls. And that'll certainly help with the bird's nest. That'll help get the fire going. So we'll keep all that material together. Right, readjust the camera and we'll get to the next part. So I've come over to this down log, got the bark off. You sort of see what I was talking about. Some parts are still a little bit green right down the bottom, but I reckon we've got enough to work with it. This is very similar to hibiscus bark, as it just sort of comes across or comes off in those multiple layers and fluffs out very easily, very quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this over, and I'm just going to use the pummel of the axe, or the hatchet I should say, and just roughly beat it, and that'll soften up the fibres in it and make it more conducive to being a very effective bird's nest. I've got to use every part of this, so I'm actually going to try and dust off or keep a lot of this dust here, and then sort of pick that up once I've built the bird's nest and sort of sprinkle it on the inside of it, because that's ultralight fibres and that'll react as a flash tinder. Rightio, well, I'll finish this and we'll come back. So we finished our 3 components. We've got our hearth board. I chose to take this out at the very end. The reason for that was it had a slight knot in it, so it was a little bit wider. It was the largest piece, obviously, being down the end, as well as it's the most, like, it's the driest out of the lot, because that where it snaps off, you can actually see there where it goes a little bit grayer. But yeah, so that will be the driest part. Then the spindle, obviously, and then the bow. The bow was made out of what seemed to be the greenest part of it, just because it had a little bit of flex in that, and it's still got a little bit of dampness in it, so if you sort of touch it to your cheek or even the top of your lip, it'll feel a little bit cold, so that's a good indicator that it's got a little bit more moisture than the rest. That's not so critical, but these parts to be dry really need to be, so I chose those. And as I prepared the rest of it, I did these first, and I put them up here on the log whilst I prepared the rest, so they were sort of air drying, just to give them a little bit more. As I said, I've never done this before, so this is a bit of a trial and error. Hey look, I might get skunked, I might have success, you know, it may take me 30 times to do it, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. So stick with us. I'll burn this in, and I'll set the bowstring up, I'll burn it in and cut the V-notch, and then we'll come back. Rightio, so we've got our componentry. We've got our small twigs all snapped up, our small, medium and large, well, as large as we can get off this branch. I've even split some in half. So we've dug a hole out, and then we've got a bit of a chimney going, and this is where we're going to pop our water source. So this is a single wall stainless steel container, so it makes it much easier to boil in and things like that. Never use a thermos because they tend to sort of pop, and they can explode, but most of the time they just pop a seal, and they're no good. So yeah, single wall stainless steel container. I've popped a couple of rocks there so it'll sort of channel the heat straight up underneath it. We've got our canvas seat cover. That's off our tripod that we had before. I've got a little bit of ash from when I first burned it in, so I thought I'll save that and we'll use that, and that'll actually help create the coal. It's not an awful lot, but it's just one of those things, particularly with this, because it's marginal timber. It is slightly damp, so we're going to give it as much opportunity to get going as possible. Now, in regards to these seats, also all the leather pouches and everything, you can find them all on our Etsy store, and that's Australian Bushcraft Collective on Etsy. So, cool, we'll keep cracking along. I won't go into bow technique or anything like that on this, otherwise it'll be way too long. Just got my bird's nest here as well, ready to rock and roll. It has to readjust the string because it's a new string and it's stretching a bit. Now, I could edit this out and you could see me do it first time like that, but I'm going to show this warts and all because it's a challenge. And we don't always succeed first time on a challenge. Now hopefully that's not too tight. Oh, that should go. Oh, marvellous. So, did work, happy with that. You see that smoke just there? I'm going to give this a little bit of time for the coal or the ember to build up, and it coagulates the dust. At the moment it's just dust, but when it starts to turn into an ember, it just coagulates and holds together far better. Makes it a little bit easier in the process, or the transfer process. So move everything out of the way. I'll even pop some of the dust from that on there. I'm going to go astray. And there we go. So I'm just letting those burn down. I've got those coals now, and I'm basically just threading in the longest sticks to try to get the coals to the back of this. So it's been a real effort. Got the fire going through there at the moment. I'm down to 5 or 6 twigs. I almost contemplated putting my hearthboard and my bow drill in just to keep it going, but it's a slow boil at the moment. Yeah, it's going to be an effort. I'll run the rest through, we'll boil it up, and then yeah. So, challenge, definitely. Is it a survival technique? Well, it produced results, so I suppose in a pinch you could use it. It would not be my preferred method, particularly because as we look around there is heaps of material around. So it was certainly a good challenge, so thanks heaps for that. If there's any other challenges that you want to see, or any other ideas, things like that you want me to do on the channel, leave a comment down below. As always, like, share, subscribe, helps us out, thanks heaps. And also, Kokoda challenge. So if you're around the area, get to it. If you're not, yet again, link in the description below if you'd like to donate to it. It's a great cause. So all the money raised goes to Kokoda Kids Foundation. Just a really great cause. Thanks heaps, guys. And yeah, look forward to it.